And thanks for tuning in, folks. This is the condensed space weather report. We're looking at the sun at 193 angstroms. Not a lot of activity going on there. No sunspots and a couple coronal holes, one near the equator and a few in the south. The Earth is currently in a coronal hole wind stream, and here are the magnetic lines at 171 angstroms. And here's the real-time solar wind. We see the phi angle shifting around a bit right now. Solar wind density 6.63 protons per cubic centimeter. Solar wind speed dancing around 479 kilometers per second. Here's some more data, spaceweathernews.com. We saw a small X-ray flux yesterday there, a little B-class X-ray flare. Otherwise, like we said, very low activity. There's the magnetometer. KP is at 3. The signets have been updated, and for that, we thank you. We will be talking about the solar probe in a moment. And we did catch that coronal mass ejection, which is headed out towards stereo A. There's the electron flux. We see the characteristic downtick in the electron flux due to the coronal hole wind stream. Regular viewers are aware it's mostly made of protons. Some slight charging hazards there over northern South America. And the F2 layer is looking totally normal. There are your Aurora forecasts, slightly elevated due to the coronal hole wind stream. Let's look at the gong too. As we see some activity going on the far side of the sun. There's that data. And here's the last frame. And here's our Magnetosphere movie. Just going to look at the pressure here. And we see those undulations in the solar wind speed represented here in the magnetohydrodynamics. Keep in mind this data is not accessible once it's already been shown. In other words, we're unable to request data from their archive. Although they do have an archive, it's not yet requestable. Here are the ground magnetic perturbations. First, we'll look at the pole view, and we'll let that play through. And here's a globe view. You'll be able to see the Earth's magnetohydrodynamics at work. For you new viewers out there, we've got 2 poles over the north, one over Siberia and one over Canada. One there and one there. And the South Pole is migrating thusly. Here's a quick earthquake rundown at quakes.globalincidentmap.com. We're going to look at the last 11 hours. We see a 5.1 in Japan. There's a 4.4 at Guatemala. 4.3 at Bolivia at depth. 4.5 at Pakistan. There's your last 11 hours of quakes 4+ magnitude. We highly recommend the Windy mobile app. Here's a little demonstration. Low pressure cells are associated with earthquakes. It's a known thing. Check out quakewatch.net for details on that. And we do see a persistent low right here north of Australia near Darwin. And that's been sitting there for quite a while, and it's expected to continue to sit there. South America looks like it's pretty free and clear right now of low pressure systems. And let's not get into the weeds on that, as we're trying to keep this condensed. Speaking of condensed matter, you're made out of it. So's the sun, so's the planet, and so are volcanoes. So here's a rundown of those. Mount Ibu, producing a 8,000-foot ash plume. Dacono with a 7,000-foot ash plume. Fuego, explosive activity continues, producing a 16,000-foot ash plume. Revenador, 14,000-foot ash plume. Don't try to pole vault over that one. Sabancaya, 23,000-foot ash plume. And Planchon Petaroa, probably still erupting. Next, we'll show you the cosmic ray data. First, Apatity. This is a Russian monitor, by the way. There's that data. And here's Barentsburg. Here's the Athens neutron monitor. Here is the Mexico City. This is just a cosmic ray observatory. And here is Oulu, Finland, as well as both Antarctica monitors. Here's DOMC. And here's DOMB. And that is your cosmic ray rundown. Next, if you're not familiar with Watchers.news, check it out. Massive damage to agricultural sector, 36% of roads damaged and more than 60 people dead in Iran due to flooding. Severe storms hit Iraq also. 2 large tornadoes touched down in Mosul. And a daylight fireball over North and South Carolina. Over 770 reports received. There's a location of it. And let's show you a clip. And that didn't work. Try that again. Little shaky cam, but quite the fireball. It looks like it goes completely out of view. Here's a U.S. Doppler radar. We see a massive storm over the entire eastern portion of the U.S. and some heavy, heavy thunderstorms over Florida. It's snowing in places like Michigan and Wisconsin with a lot of wintry mix. And I think it's snowing where I'm located in eastern Pennsylvania right now. Here is the NASA GOES water vapor map. As we see the dry mass of air over Arkansas and Mississippi is in control of this air mass. So if you're waiting to figure out when the storm's going to be over, keep an eye on that dry air mass because that's doing the pushing. Here's an article on SciTech Daily for you astronomy nerds. Groundbreaking result from Event Horizon Telescope project. We don't know what the announcement's going to be, but we'll leave links to this article, as well as everything else we visit, so that you'll know what's going to happen. Wednesday, April 10th at 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the National Press Club will stream live online the groundbreaking result from the Event Horizon Telescope project. Thinking about going out and riding a bike, but you're not sure exactly what kind of clothes to wear? Are you too big for your britches? Don't you have your britches? Don't you have cycling undergarments? Well, they're pretty important. Nothing more important than a base layer when you're out on a cold day, or a hot day for that matter. You need a moisture-wicking layer against your body, especially if you sweat. And if you're doing it right, you probably will. The base layer will protect you from things like hypothermia, as cotton is way too spongy and it absorbs way too much water. The Parker Solar Probe is awesome. I don't know if you were aware, but it is. And yesterday it did its second perihelion. Reaching speeds of 213,000 miles per hour, the Parker Solar Probe did its second solar perihelion yesterday, and it will be gathering data through the 10th. Now, we haven't seen the data yet from the first pass, and after this, the Parker probe is going to do another Venus gravity assist. So that's the state of affairs with the Parker Solar Probe. We are waiting for data on this very patiently, as it might be quite groundbreaking in terms of things like physics. Here's an article on extremetech.com. YouTube, like Facebook, ignored toxicity warnings in favor of engagement. That's right. These companies want to waste your time, folks. They want to make sure you stare at your phone as long as possible. And that's why Google software works so badly, because they measure their success in terms of engagement, not in terms of whether or not the software actually works. So there's an article from extremetech.com favoring engagement over preventing toxicity. Whatever that is. Sounds like censorship, but these companies are censoring you anyway. And they're censoring me. We are shadow banned. Put that in your transcripts, Google. And we are back at the source. 171 angstroms. Thanks for tuning into the Condensed Report, folks. We're planning on going live soon after this, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a live free-for-all. So look for that in a couple of hours. Keep staring at the sun. Thanks, subscribers. Thanks, donors. Thanks, Patreons. Please visit our links below the video. We'll be doing it all again. Who knows when? So stay tuned. And since it'll never be now again, may the solar wind be at your back and the atherosclerosis absent from your veins.